X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
In this video, I'm going to talk about how to solve quadratic equations by using quadratic formula. This is part 3. The goal is to understand the development of a quadratic formula and use quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. So let's get started. So let's solve these quadratic equations. So select pen color here. So look at this quadratic equation. 2, 4, 10. Their factor 2 is a common factor, right? So the factor after 2 is 2. S squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. I want to create a perfect square, and s squared plus 2x. So in order to create a perfect square, you have to add b over 2 square. This b is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 square. You add 1 square, you have to subtract 1 square. Minus 5 equals 0. And then copy. So this is the perfect square format. And x plus 1 square is bracket minus 1 square is minus 1, minus 5 is minus 6, okay, equals 0. And use distribute properties, x plus 1 square and minus 12 equals 0. And both sides add positive 12, so it's 2x plus 1 square equals 12. Both sides divided by 2, x plus 1 square equals 6. And both sides take square root, x plus 1 equals, take square root for 6, it should be have two values, positive, negative, equals 6. So both sides minus negative 1, x equals negative 1 plus minus 6. So we have two values, right? So one is positive, one is negative. We take positive, should be x1 equals negative 1 plus square root of 6. x2 equals negative 1 minus. So this is the solution for the equations, right? So yeah, go to next. Solving quadratic equation by developing a formula. So we use these quadratic equations and develop a formula, this quadratic formula, okay? So left side is standard form. So in order to create a perfect square, so we can focus on the left two terms. So let's copy first, it's better, right? as squared is a plus bx plus c equals 0. So we focus on this one. Sorry, it should be x. Why right c? Okay. So we factor out a s squared plus b over a x and leave c outside equals 0 here. So we create a perfect square. So s squared plus copy b over ax plus, in order to make a perfect squares, b over a should divide by 2 and square, right? Plus b over a divided by 2, right? It should be here and squared. And add squared minus squared. 2ab squared. And we use big one, okay? And yeah, this big one plus c equals 0. Okay, this big one. Okay, so here is perfect square x plus b over 2a squared. Right? So this person and copy, right? Copy. We squared. So 4a squared. This should be big bracket plus c equals 0. This is c equals 0. Okay, so we use distribute property and x plus b over 2a squared and distribute, and then we multiply b squared over 4a. This is squared, so make it clear. Sorry about that. So minus, so it's 1a cancel out, right? So cancel out. So it's b squared should be 4a over 4a plus c equals 0. Okay, so we continue a x plus b 2a squared, right? And we move this all value to the right side. We can do b squared 4a equal, right? So because it's negative, move this side should be positive, minus c. Okay, copy x plus b over 2a squared equals 4a is b squared, right? And should be, here's a 4a, right? Times 4a times 4a should be 4ac, right? Correct? So, and continue here, ax plus b over 2a squared equals, we just copy here, right? 4a b squared minus 4ac. So both sides divided by a, x plus b 2a squared equals b squared 4ac and 4a squared, right? So both sides take square root, so it's x plus b over 2a. Here should be positive negative, right? Square root b squared minus 4ac 4a squared, right? And x plus b over 2a equals, so it's 4a squared, it should can square after, right? Can square root after should be negative positive, and 2a after square root, right? But b squared 4ac still in the square root. Okay, so we move this one to the right side, or the both side minus b over 2a. So x equals negative, right? 2a plus b squared minus 4ac 2a, right? So here we have a common factor, right? Common denominator, sorry. So it should 2a negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac. See, this is a solution for this one. This is general form, right? S equals b. B is x term coefficient. B squared and 4ac. This a is the leading coefficient. This is constant 2a. So this is a solution. We can find out ABC, whatever the quadratic equations, if you are turned to a standard form. So we can substitute ABC in here. Actually, have two solutions, right? This is a quadratic formula. Yeah, let's look at this question, solving problem using quadratic model. And let's read this word problem. A rectangular field is going to be completely enclosed by 100 meters of fencing. Create a quadratic relation that shows how the area of field will depend on its width. Then determine the dimension of field that will result in the area 575 meters square. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth meters. Okay, so we already read aloud, and next we draw a graph. So let's draw a graph. Okay, so we select pen. Color. So this is rectangular, right? Rectangular, and this width, this length. Okay, so it's 100 meter. It's fencing, right? So 100 meters per meter, right? Per meter, this L, this W. So it's 2L plus 2W per meter equals 100 meter, right? Okay. So create a quadratic relation to show how the area of field will depend on the width. So here it should set a variable width because the area depends on width, and determine the dimension of field that will result into area 575. The question asks you to determine the dimensions, which means the width, the length, right? So we don't know the width, length. You have to determine. And also important is area 575 meters squared. Okay, so we set the area equals A. Right? A equals length multiply width, right? What's the length? So we know 100 meter equals 2L plus 2W. So both sides, we isolate L. Both sides divide by 2. L plus W and divide by 2 is 50, right? So L equals 50 minus W. So we substitute 50 minus W for L. So 50 minus W times W equals A, right? So here, A is 575 meter, right? We substitute 575 meter equals 50 minus W times W. Okay, this is correct equation, right? So we rearrange these equations. 575 equals, so first expand it, 50W minus W squared. So we want to remove the negative, right? So both sides multiply by -1. So negative 575 equals negative 50w plus square, right? So we move this side, we move 575 to the right side, so it's 0 equals, we arrange w squared minus 50w and plus 575. Okay, these quadratic equations. So we want to use the formula is x equals negative b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac to a, right? So we have to find out ABC. Okay, here a equals 1 equals 1. Here b equals negative 50, right? And here c equals 575. So we copy quadratic formula x equals negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac and divide by 2a. Okay, we substitute. Negative b is negative 50, negative b should be 50, right? Plus b squared is 50, negative square is 500. And 4ac means 4 times a1 times c is 575. I already calculated, just put the number here, right? In order to save time, okay? 2a, okay? So, and 50 plus, this is 200, right? And 2a, okay? 50, 2a, it's 2a, a already one, right? We just, okay, so that's not good, we have to erase it. Okay, 2, this is 2, not 2a. Okay, so 50 plus minus 200 square root 200 already calculated, so it's 14, so 14 divided by 2. Okay, here, so it's two value, right? The w1 should be, I can take positive, right? 50 minus 14, 0.14 divided by 2. Say I already calculated is 17.93, and w2, and we take minus 50 minus 14 divided by 2. Also already okay, this one looks like not good, right? This take a positive, should be 3207. This is negative. So what about length? If this is 17.93, length should be 50 minus 17.93 equals 32.7, right? If this equals 32.07, so L2 equals 50 minus 7207 equals 17.93, right? This is a solution, right? The length and the width. So W is width. If width is 17.93, length should be 32.7, right? And then have another group satisfy this area of 575. So yeah, that's good. Let's move to a summary. So the roots of quadratic equation with the form a squared plus bx plus equals 0 can be determined using quadratic formula. So x equals negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? This quadratic formula is very useful. The quadratic formula was developed by completing the square to solve x squared plus bx plus equals 0, right? We already did it. The quadratic formula provides a way to calculate roots of quadratic equation without graphing or factoring. Yeah, as long as we know the quadratic equations A, B, C, we can substitute. Yeah, we don't need graphing factoring. The solution to the equation a squared plus bx plus c equals 0 corresponds to the zeros. Yeah, 0 as intercept over relations, or called roots, right? Quadratic equations that don't contain an x term can be solved by isolating the x squared term. Means no bx. So yeah, we can definitely isolating s squared and take square root. Quadratic equation with term a times s minus s squared plus k can be solved by isolating the x term. Yeah, so just both sides minus k and then take square root, right? Okay, so here is a 3-word problem. So if you're interested, you can solve this 3-word problem, and answer is listed here. Yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you for watching.